So let's see what are the weight. The displacement is 27,000 tons. I don't think that's enough. The beam is 95.2. So actually, the beam is going to be like negative 4.4 or something like that. Negative 4.5. Negative 5 takes us down to 95 foot 2 inches. So negative 6. Negative 6.5, 95, negative 6.4, negative 6.1, negative 6.3, and let's see what negative 6.4 does. Yeah, no. So it was negative 6.3 is going to get us the closest to it. Now the length of the ship is supposed to be, let's see here, 565 foot 7 inches. The draft isn't quite right on this, but honestly, let me see here. The draft is supposed to be 29 foot 10 inches. Okay, so if we max out the draft, okay. So how about a 16% increase in draft? No, how about 15%? No, how about 14%? 29.6. That's close enough for government work, actually. All right, so that's shaping up, in all honesty. And this is actually this is just the Kaiser class. So not Kaiser Barbarossa, but Kaiser. Okay. Her design speed was supposed to be 21 knots. And what type of engine? Steam turbine. Wow, so she did use steam turbines. Okay. Now, this is where this particular build gets very, very difficult. And primarily because you see one thing on the diagrams, but you kind of have to jimmy something else. So, let's see here. There's supposed to be funnels attached to the superstructure at the fore and the aft, and leaving the middle open for the 2 echelon placed turrets. Now, and there's supposed to be 5 of these. So let's see what we can get. It's 27,000 tons is supposed to be the build. That's not enough. And based on what we've got, so 27,000 tons isn't anywhere near. So let's see what we get at 30,000 tons. And what about max build? If we just say, to hell with it, we're going to go with a maximum build. Okay, so at what point does it shrink? Did it just do that? Hold on. 34, 33. Okay, so 33,500. All right, we'll go with this right here. Okay. This is going to be quite a bit of a step. Sorry. This is going to be quite a step up from what we've done before. Because let's face it, the Helgolands were 25,504 tons. That's really weird. Anyway, these are going to be much larger ships, obviously. And they kind of need to be because, again, if you're trying to build, if you're trying to do these historical types of builds, they can be really, really tricky. They can just be incredibly difficult. So that goes there. And let's see here. The rear tower is going to have to go, let's see here. Do we want that or do we want it advanced? Let's see, what's the difference between the two? 10, 5.5. I mean, we're already here, so let's go with that good advanced rear deck tower. Now for the funnels, oh my goodness. Got steam turbines, right? Okay. So that's going to be 48.9, and then we can jam another one of these guys right here. Actually, we can keep this thing a little cheaper without induced draft boilers if we go with two of the max funnels. And that actually looks fairly decent anyway. All right, so Kaiser had 12-inch guns. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a 12-inch turret forward, and we're going to put a 12-inch turret aft, and then we need a super firing barbette, also aft, that we're going to put this other gun on. And those are spread kind of like that, actually. And can we nudge this a little bit closer? There we go. All right, so that sets high enough to where we can actually do this. Okay. And I think that turret, the rearmost turret, was actually a little further back. Now, the tricky part is going to be these side guns. All right, and the reason for that is because they're supposed to be echelon. Now, the echeloning can cause some really interesting problems, actually. All right. Because, now let's see here, because of the nature of the echelon. What it typically causes actually are major problems with the balancing. And this is actually looking more like it should. In all honesty, this is actually looking a lot more like the ship should look. Though, here again, I am going to have issues with this. All right, so let's see here. Let's reduce the draft. We're going to go 5% overall on the draft. The beam, we're going to go ahead and increase the beam to -5%. Make the ship a little bit wider. All right, now. What we can do, come to think of it, well, it's a forward weight offset, so what we can do is we can bring this back. Okay, now we have to be very careful about how we do this. Okay, that funnel can go there, this can come all the way back, and then this can come back here. All right, and that to an extent has actually corrected a little bit the starboard side offset. All right, now that gives us a field of fire to either side through the gap, and those are actually positioned almost exactly where they should be. Let's go with more beam. I like this turret setting there like that because it's just tighter to that. Okay, so let's go with a little bit more beam. And then what we can do, we can put that there like that. Oh, good grief. Come on. This is what I hate about these. Especially if you're trying to do it right. Kind of be a pain in the rear end. Let's see, this is what I absolutely do not like about this, is that actually, well, yeah, because then it's like this turret hangs over more. So what do you do to counteract that? I have no idea. And it's just kind of going to be what it's going to be. I mean, you know, you could bring this back. And see, you're still winding up with the same issue. Still winding up with the same issue. How did they get these to balance in real life? I wonder. And maybe that was it. Maybe that's how they did it. They had to offset it a little bit. I have no idea. To me, it looks kind of janky. Let me see if we set that to the... If we set that all the way out where it's supposed to be. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put that like that. Now we have a port offset. So anyway, we got the echelon set up. I think we've got that about pretty well pegged. What else do we need? We need 8 88s and 14 59s, 150s. So the 88s are going to be easy. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, 8 88s. And we're going to go ahead and make those max length. And then how many did it say? 14? 14? 150 millimeters. So there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. All right, so 5.9s. We're going to go ahead and max out their length as well. And we just have to balance the armor out. That's going to be the other trick. All right, so the 5.9s will go with 2 inches on the top. These will go with 1.5 inches for splinter protection. Go with an advanced radio and a stereoscopic rangefinder. We're going to go with enhanced reloading, electro-hydraulic turrets. Oh boy. 12-inch guns. We're going to play with that here in a moment, but let's use TNT as a base real quick. We'll go with semi-ballistics, and let's see here. Standard ratio. We're going to go with Krupp armor because that's what German tech used. Anti-torp 2, reinforced bulkheads, anti-flood 2, Citadel number 1, hydraulic steering, steam turbine engines, which are only going to get more efficient. All right. Okay. We got TNT bursting charge right now. And let's say 15 kilometers is about what we want to try to look at for engagement range. That's 9.8, and that's 9. So if we go to, let's see here, if we go to Dunite with standard shells, that's 14 inches of armor. We really don't need that. 13.4 might be really good. Though, if we go, let's see here, semi-ballistic with heavy, what do we get? 10.5, that's not enough. Now we could go to capped shells with picric acid. It's 662 damage, and that's 14, 12.1. Oh, wait a tick. Wait a tick. Go standard. Standard and Dunite. Okay, that's probably perfect. Okay. The balance point, funny enough, is right in between these two turrets almost. Okay. Armoring. Wow, the main belt's down at zero. It's at the minimum. Okay, so let's check the armor. Krupp cemented steel deck armor ranged from 3.9 inches in more critical areas down to 2.4. The armored belt was 13.8 inches thick in the central citadel. So the armored 13.8. So we'll just call it 14 at the armored citadel. Good lord. Tapered down to 7.1 forward and 4.7 aft. So 7, we'll just say 7.1. We'll just say 7 forward, and we'll go 7 in the aft because the steering compartments were typically very heavily armored. The forward weight, though, is the problem. We're still way too front heavy. The deck says 4 inches in more critical areas. What is more critical areas? Let's just say the main deck will make it 2 can be that beefy 4. Okay, so where were we? Well, the armoring scheme is starting to cause a discrepancy again on the port side. Weight offset. So, and I see why a lot of navies didn't go with this echelon type of a build, because for me it's never really worked out. So anyway, I think we were on to armoring. Got the deck armor. The conning tower had a roof that was almost 6 inches thick. 35 centimeter sides, so 14. And I like to over armor the conning tower, so I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of extra to the conning tower and say 16 inches. The superstructure, we can go ahead and say 3-inch on the superstructure. And then let's go ahead and see if we can't balance out this armor anymore. So let's go 3 inches on the main deck. And then we'll say the aft belt will over armor the aft end another 1/2 inch. And then the aft deck go up another 1/2 inch. And then the forward deck, we'll take that down like that for now. All right. Now what we have to do is we have to try to eliminate the port weight offset. So what are we going to do with that? Let's see here. Oh, wait a second. Can I get away with this now? Can I actually even these up? Yeah, see, what we're winding up with still is the same old mess, I think. So what we got there? Okay, so we still have 2/10 over on the forward end of the ship. We go aft deck, no, but if we take away from the forward deck, nope. That's not going to do it neither. There we go. All right. But we still have to armor the turrets, so that could still lead to some problems. Main battery turrets were protected by 30 centimeters of armor. So 30 centimeters is, let's see here, 14 minus 5 centimeter. Good grief. 30 centimeters, I think actually 30 centimeters is close to 12 inches of armor. It's almost 12 inches of armor. But there again, I like to over armor, so I'm going to go on 14. We'll go 3 inches on the top. And then the barbette, let's see if we can't put a 16-inch barbette. And that puts us at 1/10 over on the stern end. That's okay. Heavy barbettes, better protection. And the armament were Schnellkanonen or something like that, L45. They were 12 L45s, which we're at 46s. Which means we're our guns are a little long. Which actually, if we go 2 inches down, 2%, 3%, what's the maximum? Wow, it doesn't do anything, so we're stuck. We'll leave them at, leave them at that. All right, we got dunite, we got ballistite, actually. So dunite might not be the best. No, as we get into later eras, actually, we're going to want a little bit of over penetration. Though we would have to upgrade. We're going to want to start actually looking at this. So let me see here. Settings. We're going to want to go into armor quality. We're going to want to start looking at 70%. Though we are technologically very advanced, right? But if we do that at 50, yeah, we're only at 10.9. Okay. That's going to be more what we want to look at right now. Though, there again, it depends on what we're coming up against, and I haven't really been paying attention to enemy armor values. Just me, or is that part of the deck a little bit more narrow? Yeah, see the turret offset. It's a weird offset, but this is about what we wanted to do for the Kaiser class. We've got the turbine engines. Actually, our range is pretty darn high right now. The beam is dead even. We had to modify some things for this to work. It's there again. It's a modified historical build. At some point, I'm going to try to sit down and actually anyway. Now, you know, an interesting thing you could feasibly do with this is push this out more. Could feasibly push this out more, and have a super firing pair stacked in the back. That might be an interesting refit for it. All in good time. All in good time. Have to have both of those facing the stern, of course. But you could fit a super firing pair in there, or what you could do is do what they did on later ships and basically move this forward and have this tucked in between the two funnels. Either way. Either way. All right. And we haven't even used most of our weight, actually. Yeah, most of our weight actually is unused. We've still got about 2,000 tons. Yeah, we still got about 2,000 tons we could put onto this ship. But you do what you got to do. Because there's no way this is any shorter and this would crunch, and then you wouldn't be able to fit these two guns in echelon style. So you just do what you got to do. So that's the design weight. This is what we're at. We can always, you know, hell, if you really wanted to, we could go 15 inches or even 16 inches on the turret armor, right? That would make the turrets really solid. Stereoscopic rangefinder. And with 70%, which is less than our armor quality, but with 70%, 15,000 meters, we're punching 11.4 inches of armor. We can always upgun. We can always upgun. But in any case, I'm going to leave this here like this, all right? We'll go ahead and save the Kaisers, all right? The The problem, of course, is that it's going to really complicate the building process for them. It might take us a little while to get 5 ships, and that was the historical number was 5. So we've got our Kaisers, and they're very expensive. 173 million per ship with an upkeep cost of about $1 million a month. Oh my goodness. What's our shipyard capacity at right now? And with the refits going on, that's going to be our problem right now, is with the refits going on. Tell you what, we've designed it. In 2 months, we can build it. We can start building. Actually, we could lay all 5 of them down right now and just put them on hold until all these other ships are done. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll take the Kaiser. We'll build 5 of them. Right? Boom. There they all are. Okay, so we're going to suspend. We're going to suspend. We're going to suspend. We're going to suspend. There we go. All right, so we've got the Kaiser. What were the ships of the class? We had the Kaiser. We had Friedrich der Grosse. Friedrich der Grosse. Kaiserin. Oh, look at that. Number 3 is already right there. Look at that. Prince Regent Luitpold, which means we're going to need to rename Prince Regent Luitpold. Prince Regent Luitpold and König Albert. All right, and do we really want to get, let's see here, the 5 ships were Kaiser, Friedrich der Grosse, Kaiserin, Prince Regent Luitpold was the 5th. Why does it do that? It doesn't list them in the exact order, right? Sorry about that, guys. And then this one is the König Albert. Okay. So Kaiser was built in Kiel. Friedrich der Grosse was Vulcan Dockyard in Hamburg. Kaiserin de Hovoltswerke Dockyard in Kiel. So Kaiserin was also built in Kiel. Prince Regent Luitpold, also out of Kiel. And König Albert was the Sichalwerke Dockyard in Danzig. I might be bringing Zaydlets back to the main fleet here. I don't know. We'll have to see. I could send one of these other fleets, like the Siegfrieds. I could send the Siegfrieds over there without the Saxony. Leave the Saxony over here. Anyway. And that's Citadel number 2. Austria has provoked me directly. Okay. I mean, if that's how they want to do it, that's fine by me, fellas. One more Magdeburg. It's got 2 months left on that refit. Actually, this is move him down, move her rather, move her down to Douala. Oh, it's because the light cruiser is not moving. Hmm. Hmm. Well, let's take a look at some of these older, like Memphis. Friedrich Wilhelmshaven, yeah, I think I can kind of set that one on trained. Okay, set crew. We're going to go down to 0 on that one. Arabian Sea. And we got one in Lorengau, Herbertsura, Port Elizabeth, Cape Town. Now, at some point, we're going to build a ship specifically for mine laying. Sweden wants 2 of the V40. Yeah, we can go ahead and build 2 of the V45s. Portugal wants a 73. Okay, we can do that. Oh, Battle of Hawaii. Persia wants to buy the Amazon. Mm-hmm. And Persia can buy the Amazon. Okay. Okay. All right, let's see here. That's going to push us pretty darn close to the red line there. Make a fairly powerful small task force like this. 1 battleship, 1 light cruiser, or 1 of these battleships, a light cruiser, and a couple destroyers. Crew demands have gone up by about 34 crew members, which is fine actually. That's no big deal. Okay, so here in Gibraltar, we've got the Kaiser and Augusta is now ready for service once again. Problem is that the Kaiser and Augusta is no longer going to be able to, yeah, hold on a second, let's not do that. The Kaiser and Augusta is not going to be able to keep up. It's actually the heavy cruiser would be slowing that fleet down. So with these guys, it's okay. The battleships go 20 knots, and the Kaiser and Augusta goes 22 knots. That'll be fine. With this fleet also, 19 knots. You know? So, yeah, let's do it like that for the time being. So they're still buying the nymphs. I'm going to take this Ariadne. But where do I want to move it is the question. Dover. Dover is where we want to take you. Move Karlsruhe to Dover. Move Condor to Dover. This one, I think I'm going to send you down to Cape Town. And then the ship that's in Dover, the Nympha that's in Dover right now, we can go ahead and mothball that. Port Sudan. Doesn't Port Sudan have an Ariadne now too? Yes, Port Sudan also. The Nympha that's in Port Sudan also. Yeah, I can agree to that. If they want it done, then let's do it. 8,000 ton light cruiser to light cruiser 4s. Syria wants 3 of the V-45s. And we can do that. Okay, Sweden would like to buy the Jaeger. Portugal would like to buy the mines. Okay. Got a Medusa, we got a Prince Heinrich, which means Prince Heinrich, we're gonna take you to Diego Suarez, huh? We're gonna put you in there. Kaiser and Augusta. Oh, that means that that ship is being repaired. Yes. Okay. Move these ships on over there. Now let's go back in here real quick because this is how we get this to kind of change a little bit. Let's see, I wasn't able to access the rest of the fleet. It happens, and the stacking thing is still kind of an issue because you're not able to, at least not that I've heard. If anybody is aware, please let me know. But you're not able to like rotate your stacks. And see, now we can take the whole fleet, and we can move them down to this part of the Mediterranean. Which we really haven't started messing with the Mediterranean too much. As our enemies develop their mine technology, though, we might have to improve our number of minesweepers. And only about 5,000 tons to spare. So, moving into 1908. Here we go, boys and girls. The British finally going to declare peace. Finally. Oh, he's got a Hood-class battleship. That's a new one. Hmm. Hmm. I don't think I really want anything from him. Wow, he didn't want to give me any ships either. Well, I might have to go back to war with him just for that. France is over there taking Hawaii. Interesting. Anyway, we've got $16 billion in the bank now. And what we're looking at is, well, that's what we're looking at. Okay, so anyhow, let's bring him down to the central Atlantic, where we can have some power projection down there. Okay, and then we can move these guys out to North Oceania for power projection out there. Okay. And then what we can do is we can recall all of our destroyers in the area to Herbitoa. Except for these guys. These guys can go to Lorengau. Let's see here. Finances. Wow. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and refit Lorelei. V73s, no. Siegfried. Nymph. Augusta. Prince Regent Luitpold. Ariadne. We got a Karlsruhe that can be refit. Okay. Okay. And where are they off to? Gibraltar. Guys, Augusta. Okay. This whole fleet, we can move these guys over to the Yellow Sea here. This whole fleet. Okay. Well, then never mind. It's because these battleships have bumped up to 22.5 knots. So I need to keep the Saxony with them. So what I can actually do now is I can move, let me see here, Ariadne. Let's go ahead and move. I'll put the Kaiser and Augusta there. Move you on up to the North Sea. And then out of Bremen we can move 2 destroyers there, and then from Palau move you guys into Bremen. Okay. Oh, and we got small guns number 5. Our small, or Mark III 5-inch guns, which means we can probably begin another refit on some of our other ships, especially anybody using 5-inch guns, which is pretty much most all of them. At least at some point we'll get that in. Maybe the Prince Regent loopholes, we can take a look at them and do another refit. Though those guys, I might just bump up to a really heavy secondary battery. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. All right, anyway. All right, I think that's going to be about it for today, folks. So, yeah. Anyway, as always, thanks for stopping by. If you're enjoying the content, this is Wolf190D signing off.